Generous tipper goes to third. The wine steward responding to the challenge so far. Here's Locked right alongside. Locked, the wine steward. It is locked to win the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity for Jose Ortiz.
Top of the stretch, and it's Dornock who's kicked. Dornock is now opening up that margin. It's Dornock who's up by 3-4 wide, just tucked in there. Sierra Leone is rolling. Here comes the big bounding strides of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone from last to first. This is a big effort. Battling on is Dornock, who's back to second. Sierra Leone is lugging in. Dornock is coming back. Dornock not done. It's gonna be a photo, and I think Dornock got there. Believe the magic. Dornock battles back Sierra Leone.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
There you have it. Welcome back to Doubling Down with Colin Sheehan. And that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what it does. As you saw in my preview earlier this week about the Fountain of Youth, that's right. We have the big return of Dornock and Locked. I went through that first run through on Monday, but here on this show, we love to go through and do a daily double. I think we're on episode 67 right now. The support has been incredible. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We follow the Derby preps, and it takes us very naturally through all out different parts of the country. And as we return to Gulfstream Park, I bring back my guest from last year, who on this very exact same week told us about a little horse by the name of Mage. And Gustavo Delgado, the tip that Alfredo gave us was that he generally doesn't have horses fire first time out. So watch out for this horse by the name of Mage. Now, Mage finished second in the Fountain of Youth, but we all know what happened 2 months later when Mage had that big impressive start and win in the Kentucky Derby. So let's go back to Gulfstream. Let's bring back our guest from Videohipico for this week's version of Doubling Down for the Fountain of Youth.
Hey, Colin. Thanks for having me again.
What an entrance, right? I mean, I've already set you up after having Mage last year on this show. So, you know, you've got a lot of shoes to fill after last year's word on Mage in the Fountain of Youth. How are you? First of all, welcome back.
Everything is good. A lot of work during the championship meet, but well, looking forward to try to give good information as always.
And you absolutely do that. You can find Alfredo at Videohipico on Twitter or X, whatever you're calling it these days. You also do some videos using the tool Equine Edge. Where can we find you weekly doing that content?
Well, I opened a YouTube channel recently. Is at Videohipico. Is the same address like the X account, Instagram account, TikTok account that I have with this at Videohipico.
Yeah, you got to cover all those accounts. Just like right here on YouTube. This is Trust the Profits. This is Doubling Down. We are going to dive into not only the Fountain of Youth, but the race prior, which is your Honey Fox. We have a pretty stacked field of 11. And Alfredo, winners in going a mile on the turf are hitting wire to wire at about 18%. So 18% is that early speed getting out and winning these races going a mile on the turf. But here in this race, we have 3 horses who get the Brisnet speed designation of an E8. 3 horses that want to be on the lead, and they're all actually there on the outside with For the Flag, Time Passage in the 9-hole, and your number 11, Ancient Peace. And I thought that in and of itself created an interesting race here, not only with that early speed, but also a lot of horses that are fairly similarly matched. I don't think you have a really big standout here in this leg, and I think that is representative of both of our tickets. But where did you find yourself leaning towards here in race 13?
This race is maybe the toughest race of the sequence of the Pick 6 and the late Pick 5. I struggle a little bit to handicap this race, but I think for the flag, because what you said is true. The speed is dominating the turf on Gulfstream during all championship meet. And this for the flag has a lot of speed. And I believe I am not seeing time passage close to her at the beginning. I think they are going to run that filly more conservative this time. An Asian piece from that whole 11 is a horrible post at the distance. So maybe Javier Castellano will try, to get the better location possible at the first turn, and maybe for the flag will control the pace, and that is a danger for the her rival. So I believe the number 7 has a good chance to win where to wear this race. But as you said, maybe if he gets some pressure, you will have other options like Chili Flag.
Yeah, For the Flag would be the first horse I left off my ticket. So I did my handicapping. I love how Gulfstream has their past performances out so early. So I did the handicapping for this sequence. I think we taped this on Tuesday. I did it maybe Sunday night. And when I went back and looked at my notes today, I don't remember why I really came up with what I came up with. So when I went through it again today, I completely changed my mind. And For the Flag was the one that I was going back and forth on. And I ultimately decided to leave off. I'll start with the number 3, Be My Sunshine. And real quickly about Time Passage, that's a horse that's been showing a lot of the speed on the synthetic too. So more races on the synthetic. Moving to the turf, you have to wonder if that speed's going to be there. So good point by you. I ended up going with a little bit of the angle of form, horses that are in form and have been running consistently. And also for Be My Sunshine, you're getting a horse that's horse for the course, as they like to say, who's got 3 victories in 4 races at Gulfstream and a second place in the other race, is 3 for 8 overall on the turf. Comes into this race coming from a race at Tampa, a grade 3 race where he finished second to the number 5 walkathon. You're getting Safi Joseph and Junior Alvarado, and a horse who I think is going to be able to just sit right off of that speed if it does materialize. They're to the outside. I wanted one of the horses that maybe is going to be right behind that first flight, and which one was the best. And Be My Sunshine was where I landed there with the number 3. Any interest in Be My Sunshine, or who else did you use?
Well, I use also Walkathon is a prize play in this race, and she has that stamina that maybe will help her to follow for the flag and to be close at the end. But what I'm seeing is a final stretch with For the Flag leading the race, 5 or 6 other mares that are going to be very close. And I believe Expansive, for example, the number 4, last time out, she has a lot of issues at the beginning and she was very far, but she has a speed. So I believe Jose Ortiz will try to put her as close as he can to For the Flag. And also I see this horse, Candy Light, last time out, and she returned with a very good victory on synthetic, but she looked very strong in the final stretch, and I like that. And Safi Joseph is very effective the second race back after the day off. So I believe the number 2 will run very well. So as you seen my ticket, I am using the horses that are in the inside post and the horses that I believe are going to be close to the pace of For the Flag. So that is, I think, is key to handicap this race.
Yeah, I use Expansive on my ticket as well. There's a little bit of you maybe don't know the best of this horse yet. This will be the second race coming back in the 4-year-old season. Certainly showed some, only lost by 2.5 lengths in the grade 2 at Belmont. First race back this year was at Gulfstream Park. Optional claimer. A little bit of me has a concern that maybe Expansive needs to be on the lead. The 2 victories were races where this horse was forwardly placed. The last 2 races, he didn't get the lead and didn't get there. So I did have a little bit of a concern in putting Expansive on my ticket. She ultimately made my ticket. I only used one other, and that was the number 6 Chili Flag. This horse had a really good, solid 4-year-old campaign and returns now as a 5-year-old mare. Has 10 for 16 in first or second on the turf. And one thing that I noticed about Chili Flag, this horse comes from off the pace, right? So if some of this speed materializes, Chili Flag comes from off the pace. using Brisnet, this horse has really been against the bias in many of her races. So if you look at the first call pace setup of all of her races, they've been negative numbers, meaning that the races were very slow, and this horse closed into slow paces in a majority of her races. So I think that you get a little bit more speed in here. I'm hoping that Chili Flag can be the one that's, as you mentioned, right behind or right close to For the Flag, and take For the Flag down. Also, I put in red there. Look at the long layoff For the Flag, right? It's a 5-month layoff. Now, For the Flag has shown the ability to win off the layoff. Did that back in, ran December 4th of 2021, and then didn't run again until March of 2023. But that was a maiden special weight. So I'm a little bit weary of that victory off the layoff, and I'm wondering if For the Flag might actually need one here.
Yeah, but she's working very well, and has we discussed at the beginning, the speed bias of this track is impressive. If a horse has the opportunity to control the pace, it's very tough to defeat the horse that is leading the race. So that is the reason that I'm using her as the top pick. But I'm using Chili Flag. This race is completely open because you have pros and cons for each horse that is running this race. So Chili Flag maybe is going to be too slow to follow the pace, and we don't know. But if she's close enough, maybe she reached the wire first. So it's a very tough race. I recommend to spread in this race. If you are doing a pick 6 or pick 5, also try to include as many horses as possible, because this one is the key race to maybe you can hit a very good pick 6 or late pick 5 with this race if you hit it.
Big if. So I go with the 3, 4, 6. Alfredo goes with the 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 here in leg 1, and we move on. You talked about needing to spread in that leg. Well, maybe in the Fountain of Youth, if you have a strong opinion, because you have two very, very highly anticipated returns of Dornoch and Locked, two of the 3-year-olds we haven't seen yet. Really, the last two, right? We saw Timberlake come back with a big performance. We obviously saw Fierceness's return at Gulfstream. That was a little underwhelming. But now you've got Dornoch and Locked, and then you've also got two horses here who coming in off of a maiden race with the 1 and the 3, Speak Easy and Victory Avenue, who actually had extremely impressive debut at Gulfstream Park. This race has a Silks purse of $3,800. And Alfredo, if you didn't know, the number 8 Locked, I own 10% of in the game of Silks, along with Filkins Farm. So for me, this is like, I'm new to the game of Silks, and to have ownership in a horse like Locked is I know I've hit the lottery, but now the excitement is really like kind of starting to build up of like, wow, I got a horse that is appearing in this type of race and has an opportunity to move on to the first Saturday in May. So obviously very exciting for me there. Now, as I mentioned in the Open last year, you dropped in and gave us this little hint about this horse named Mage, who Gustavo Delgado had brought in. And Gustavo Delgado brings back one of those horses I just talked about, the 3, Victory Avenue, who put up a 100 Brisnet speed figure in the debut, January 27th, going 7 furlongs. Is Victory Avenue a horse that maybe you're going to drop here like Mage last year? What do you think?
Well, I like him a lot in this race, and the main reason is the speed that he showed in his first start out. As I told you last year, and I can repeat that, Gustavo is going to improve this horse, and he's an arrogate. So maybe that I really believe that distance is going to fit better this time. It's not the same to try to extend his speed in a short distance than to gallop the 1 mile and 116. So I think this horse is going to run better. And to tell you the truth, I don't know if Speak Easy is going to run this race. I think Pletcher will run him in the allowance on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So because he always proceeding that way, he wins the maiden, then he looks for an allowance, and then he tried the Florida Derby. He did it with Always Dreaming, and he did it with another horse that won, I think, Materiality. I don't remember but he always proceed in that way. So I am not seeing Speak Easy running this race, and if he doesn't run the race, well, Victory Avenue will have control of the pace, and that is going to be a very dangerous situation for the rest of the field. I'm sorry, because Luck is there. No. And the thing with Luck is he's a closer, and you know very well that at Gulfstream the closer always have issues, to develop that closer kick to win the races. And I believe this horse won at Kineland and also at Saratoga, if my mind is not tricking me, right? And when he tried Santa Anita, remember how was the Breeders' Cup? Luck was very far behind because that track is like Gulfstream. It's a speed bias track. So I think this horse, Victory Avenue, is going to take the lead and is going to be a tough customer.
And you make a great point about Speak Easy, because when we get to my ticket, you're actually going to see I'm going to, on Tuesday, play this two different ways, because I think Speak Easy creates a very interesting dynamic in the race. If Speak Easy is in the race and goes with Victory Avenue, and you have a horse like Dornoch, who we really need to see him run a different style, if the three of these are going at it, right, then I think that sets up very nicely for Locked. Now,
I believe, sorry to interrupt you, I believe Dornoch is going to chase the speed of Victory Avenue. He has no other way to try this race. The thing is, how far is going to be Luck? How far is going to be him? Because if he is close enough, maybe he will take advantage of the pace and will win the race. But if he's behind 7-8 lengths, it's going to be very tough for him to recover that distance.
Yeah, not to mention, like, I think it's getting overlooked a little bit that Locked scratched out at Tampa Bay with a fever and missed some training. So, in my previews on Sunday night, I said, if I had to pick one, and I can put my bias aside, unlike Tim on the channel, who came up with a video about why White Abarrio was going to win the Saudi Cup just because he's such a White Abarrio fan. So you get a biased opinion from Tim, but not from me. I can be unbiased. And I said I would probably lean towards Dornoch just head to head, only based on that fact that Locked missed that training. He's coming back off a temperature and actually might need a race, right? Just to get kind of back going to what he was doing before he went through what he went through. And Dornoch also, we showed it in the Open here. Don't sleep on, as a 3-year-old now, hopefully you see the progression, but Dornoch crashed into the rail coming down the stretch in that race against Sierra Leone. And 2 races back was on the left lead in that race in Keeneland. So has shown some greenness, which leaves some question marks as well. And to me, this is why horse racing is so great, because in 3 minutes or 4 minutes, we've just talked about all of these different scenarios that could possibly play out. I feel more like Dornoch needs to go, only because he's won that way twice. And I think it'll be, for those that want to back Dornoch for like a race like the Kentucky Derby, they're going to want to see Dornoch be able to not be on the front end and be able to show a different style, right? You have to feel more comfortable, at least this year, with how much kind of early speed we've seen in all of these preps. Is there anybody else in this field that you think outside of those 4 has a shot?
No, I believe I Speak Easy is my 4th pick if he's running. I believe Dornoch is the second option. I'll lock the third one. I think the race is there, and remember that Dornoch is a full brother to Mage.
Yeah.
So we know that Mage ran very well at Gulfstream. So I don't see why Dornoch is not going to do it as well. So maybe Dornoch will win the Fountain of Youth, but I believe maybe Mage was not able to win last year, and maybe Victory Avenue will do it for Gustavo Delgado. Maybe the history changed, but remember, Mage didn't win the Fountain of Youth because he had this slow start, and he finished fourth. He was not able to do his race, and also in the Florida Derby he has issues at the start and finished second. But in Dornoch, maybe he's going to be better than his brother. I don't know. So it's a very interesting race because I want to see how good is Dornoch, because Victory Avenue is a very good horse.
And you're also probably going to get a lot of people that saw Dornoch beat Sierra Leone in that race that we showed. And Sierra Leone obviously just came back with a gigantic performance. So this is the fun part of the season, right? You start getting the horses that are the cream of the crop. You start seeing them run against each other, and you get to kind of do that game. And then in the next round of preps, you get to see horses start to intermix circuits, right? Horses from fairgrounds move out and come into Florida. And Dornoch's actually a horse that had been running up in New York. And then you get to start comparing them on that level as they kind of make that next step. So that will, as I mentioned on my ticket, if one is in, I'm going to go with the 3-8 in this leg. If the one is not, I'm going to go with the 3-5, figuring Dornoch might have an advantage there without having that early speed to deal with Speakeasy. I also prefer Victory Avenue based on I use the Brisnet average winning distance and the Arrogate average winning distance of 7.9, and on the Dams is 7.2. You use Equine Edge. I don't know if I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't know have it in front of you, but is there a GSR advantage of any of the one or the three in this race?
Well, the GSR of the number, let me move to the race. Give me a second. The GSR of Victory Avenue increases with the distance.
Okay.
And Speakeasy drops.
Exactly. Okay. Yep.
And drops, and the top GSR of the race is for Luck.
All right.
He has 99.
All right.
But Dornoch has 96.
Okay.
So Dornoch has the potential to do it.
And who does Equine Hedge have on the lead in the pace?
Well, it's a tie. It's
Okay.
a tie between Victory Avenue and Speakeasy, and that is what just playing. If Speakeasy is running here, he will chase the pace from very close to Victory Avenue, and that will change the scenario of the race. But if the number one is not running, I can't even single the number 3 because he will control the pace. So who controls the pace here is likely the winner, is what I think. I don't know, maybe Dornoch is a champion, but let's see.
Locked is the champion. Locked is there's my talk.
I like my handicapping with the Victory Avenue, but I will be rooting for Lock, so maybe I will do in the daily double with Lock to root for you.
There we go. Thank you so much for coming back on Doubling Down. You've survived. Check him out at Videohipico, both on YouTube, Instagram, your Twitters, all the good stuff. He's putting out content all the time. And will you be at the track on Saturday for Fountain of Youth?
I am always at the track, believe me.
There we go. There we go. Go find him at the finish line. I'm Colin. He's Alfredo. Until next time, good luck, everybody.